And I find that what's interesting to me, that what I know, this is a particular experience in this company that I was at when they're
Mm-hmm.
initially only working with colleagues from mainland China to versus at a later point in time working with colleagues who are outside of China and non-Chinese. That in Chinese companies, people are more direct and especially tech
Mm-hmm.
companies. I cannot generalize that to all Chinese companies because there is somehow
Mm-hmm.
this assumption that, oh, Chinese people are not direct. But I don't think that's true of tech companies. Tech companies are very direct in that they say, okay, this is working, great. This is not working, this is bad. Of course, there are different levels. I've heard, not the one I was at, I've heard from other people, friends working in other companies, that it can get quite unpleasant because they will say, this is terrible. You are
Mm-hmm.
horrible. You do a terrible job and you are a terrible person, right? So I think that's unnecessary, but sometimes it happens, right? But at the very least, if it's a good non-toxic environment, they will be very direct and say, this is not good. Please change it. Or they might say, "Look, you could do better. This is not the expectation. Please do better." Whereas I think my perception, also not direct, but from friends who are working in the big US tech companies, there is a lot of resistance to saying things directly, being careful around people's feelings, and not willing to say things so directly. So I think, that's one big difference I noticed. So I think at least in Chinese tech companies, they prioritize the mission and the focus on what needs to be done. Whereas,
Right.
in at least in US tech companies, what I've understood is that there's a lot of, tiptoeing around people's feelings.